Objectivity is hard to come by, especially when we are talking about movies because they are very subjective. So instead of trying to force you to think what I think, why don't we just get different perspectives from different people on what the best movie of 2022 was? Elvis. My friend Geraldine is the only person I know that loves this movie more than myself. And so, of course, knowing how much she adored it and adores Austin Butler, I wanted to get what her opinion was and why she thought Elvis was the best movie release of 2022. It's not just for Austin. You could say I have a bias toward Baz Luhrmann as a director since I fell in love with his interpretation of Romeo and Juliet and how impactful The Great Gatsby was in my life. But the movie from start to finish consumes me. You were thrown into the fabulousness of who Elvis was. The movie reignited the craze and love for Elvis, and even Austin Butler, who was just acting as him. What movie have we seen do that? Elvis really paved the way for the names like Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Harry Styles. If not for Elvis, where would music be? And from knowing Geraldine, this to me is why the movie affected her so much. In the end, it's less about the extravagance of it all, and it's more about the feeling it brings to society, to a name that might have been forgotten. Top Gun Maverick. Of course, it wouldn't be right of me to talk about this topic without getting some insight from my movie friends that I have online. And so I decided to ask some of them that I'm a part of a group chat with, and Madison put her love for Top Gun Maverick like this. The magic that director Joseph Kosinski pulled was absolutely incredible. Normally, anyone would be skeptical whenever a sequel to a classic comes out decades after it's been made, because you think, cash grab. But Top Gun Maverick is the total opposite of that. It's full of heart. The cinematography is breathtaking and the score was heavenly. It's filled to the brim with close calls and intense moments that made me hold my breath and cheer. And did I mention that this was made for the big screen? It's one of the best theater experiences of my life. Now, I may not have been born when the original Top Gun was released, but I still felt the emotional weight of the original in this masterpiece of a sequel. And I personally couldn't agree more. There was something about being in a theater full of just people, a packed theater, being surrounded by strangers who are laughing and cheering and crying and just having fun while watching the same film. It's a shared experience that I think a lot of movies can give us, and Top Gun Maverick certainly is no exception to that. Aftersun. Being the only film on this list that I have yet to see, I was curious to hear what some of my other friends thought about it, the ones that have seen it, and I've heard only good things, and so Syria only added to that by saying, I think what Aftersun primarily excels at is the fact that it always stays true to the point it's trying to prove. For the story, it's designed as a structural relationship mended and broken at different times between a lonely father trying to make a living in this dreary society with his complex daughter who's on the verge of adolescence. To be perfectly honest, it doesn't come up with a legitimate story or plot. It simply summarizes a subtle parent-child relationship. Additionally, the way it deals with mental trauma, poverty, loneliness, the deep analysis of dream versus reality is such a profound and thorough explanation. And to make it work with little plot is what makes it so special. There's this one particular scene toward the end when the two characters share a dance together, and the film is edited in such a way that made me realize how complicated family stuff can get. It made me ask myself a serious question. What actually brings a child and their parent together? And that certainly made me want to see the movie, so I'm definitely going to be needing to prioritize it. The beauty of film, as soon as you can see it in someone else, should make you want to kind of indulge in that as well. And so I will definitely be prioritizing Aftersun after this. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Nathaniel and I saw quite a few movies together last year, and one that we saw together was this one, and so I wanted to get his perspective on why it was his number one from last year. Marcel the Shell is my favorite 2022 release for several reasons. First off, he's just the cutest little thing I've ever seen, and he has such a positive outlook on everything. I think the movie has such unique perspectives on such small and niche aspects of everyday life that honestly made me feel refreshed about my day-to-day and gave me new feelings about the mundanity. And also the movie just has such a special meaning to me because my mom used to show me the YouTube videos that it was based on all the time because of how cute he is. Seeing it now makes me feel really sentimental. Overall, it's just such a well put together movie that is so simple in concept, but has such a complexity simultaneously. And I couldn't agree more with everything that Nathaniel said. I remember when we went and watched it, it was my first time, his second time. And I just remember thinking this movie is so sweet. Like those movies that are just so kind and you can't help but love them. And so Marcel really is that way, and I completely understand why Nathaniel would view it as his best movie of 2022. The Batman. If you know me, you know I would never leave this movie out of this topic of conversation, but instead of imposing y'all on hearing my thoughts and my beliefs about it, I decided to get an alternative opinion on why my friend Avi thought that this movie was the movie of the year last year. The Batman is quite simply everything that I've ever wanted to see in a live action Batman movie come to life. Everything about how this movie portrays the Caped Crusader just screams out to me that Matt Reeves gets Batman. This film delivered one of my favorite interpretations of the grimy, gritty, and atmosphere-heavy Gotham cities, along with finally showing Batman as a detective. It's something so many of the live-action adaptations fail to properly showcase, and The Batman is presented as a noir crime thriller through and through. As my movie of the year as well, obviously it's easy for me to agree. There's just something about the theater experience, again, for this, going to see it. It was truly just amazing and beautiful, and it kind of sucks you into this reality and this setting and this world that they've created, and that's why for me it was my favorite of last year as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for always staying true to coming and watching my videos. What movies did I miss? What 2022 release was your favorite? Don't ever hesitate to let me know in the comments. Maybe you have different opinions. Maybe you want to trash certain movies. Be nice, but of course, let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all again next time.